If you're still in corporate and you've got an idea and you're wondering whether or not it's good enough to leave your job for, then this video is for you. Because if you're in corporate and you have got an idea, what you're missing is not the courage to jump out, it's the evidence that it's actually going to work and bring you in money. And so by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to test or validate your idea and offer without risking your job or gambling your income, because we all know there's a lot riding on this. So if that sounds useful, let's have a chat. So finances rightfully come up as a huge factor in whether or not somebody feels safe enough to leave their job. And it makes sense, because if you're going for a new job, then you know what the salary is and you know that you just need to do whatever's in your role and you're going to get paid. But starting a business is a whole different thing. How do you get guarantees? That's why testing and validation is so important, because that makes for a strategic rather than a rushed or emotional exit. So let's look at what that validation looks like. So in corporate, validation is usually verbal. It can look like a well done, an acknowledgement, something maybe from your team or from your manager. It can even look like a monetary one-off gift or Pizza Fridays. But unless you receive that monetary gift, it is usually just words, but many times it can come with other perks. It means that now you might be encouraged to move forward. You might have certain doors open for you. You may be listened to more in meeting, and your opinions start getting taken seriously. Corporate validation sits at validation level 1. Outside of corporate, for example, if you look at social media, validation looks like comments and likes and followers or subscribers. That's level 2 validation, and it looks like engagement. This is people who are sharing, they may be commenting, they may be engaging with you on the platform, but there isn't any commitment to you. Validation in business, however, sits at level 3, and it's financial. This is where someone is invested, they are committed, and they've paid. And the whole point of this video is to get you to understand that level 3 validation is what you need if you ever want to get out of corporate. It's about moving you from a corporate mindset to that of a business owner, because you don't have a business if all you're getting is engagement and likes and comments and encouragement, but no payments. Because if you're in business and you're only getting validation at level 1, that might be people coming to you and saying, oh, that's really nice, that's helpful, I could use that, but there's no buy-in and no commitment. Level 2 might look like somebody who books a call, they download a freebie, they ask more questions, but again, there's no commitment. Validation level 3 in your business needs to look like them actually paying the £150, the £300, the £1,000, because that payment is what will provide you with the data to move forward. It starts removing the fear of what could happen if you decide to leave your job. So let's get to testing. And firstly, I want you to look at this not as starting a business. Don't put any pressure on it. Just look at this as a test. Because what this test is going to do is just give you evidence. It's not pressure. The feedback from it is going to help you to review and refine your offer. So I suggest you get pen and paper for this one, because you're going to want to pause it in some areas to make notes of what you need to do. So you can pause the video now to get your pen and paper and come back. So let's get through step by step what the validation process looks like. Step 1, you want to create a pilot version. If you looked at my previous video, you would have already had an offer that you want to test. If you haven't got that offer and you want to go look at that video now, then do so. But with this offer, you don't need a website. You don't need any fancy pitches or pages. You can put together a clean and simple landing page for people to go through. But the most important thing is to keep it simple with one clear outcome. For example, with your leadership background, your offer might be, I'm running a small 2-week pilot helping new managers handle performance conversations confidently. What you're doing is keeping it contained. Step 2, you want to offer it to a small selection of people. This does not need plastering all over the internet. But bearing in mind that conversion rates are usually low, you want to speak to the people that your offer will actually cater to and those that you know, because then they're less likely to turn you down. Right now, you don't want to be just throwing it out there in the dark to strangers. You want to offer to people who you know that you can trust enough and are more inclined to reply and to support you. So the action that I want you to take for this video, you can be conservative and message 5 people that you trust. This isn't a sales pitch. This isn't a buy my business. You make it very clear that you're piloting something, and it can sound like this. I'm piloting a new offer, helping, and you put the specific person, achieve the specific outcome, and I'm testing a small group. Would this be valuable to you or someone you know? Keep it simple, keep it direct, keep it professional. After that, you want to move on to step 3. This is to deliver your offer live and refine it. The importance of this stage is where the testing lies. And this is where you start observing what's happening. What questions are coming up for those people? Where are they struggling? And what is it they value most? This is you testing and refining in real time, and it's gold because you're getting the direct feedback from people who know you and know you enough to be clear and be truthful. And this is where you start to build confidence through the evidence and, most importantly, through action. You have to take action first. And step 4, this is a really important step. You have to start collecting your testimonials. This is the social proof you need so that you have evidence and that others can see the benefits of your offer. So after you've delivered, you want to ask them what shifted for them. What result did you experience? What would you say to someone who is considering this? Would you recommend it? These testimonials from those first clients in your pilot are your confidence builders. They're your authority markers. It's social proof and helps to position you as that authority in your field. And this is where you start moving away, shifting from wondering if it's going to work and sitting there with this idea that you're not doing anything about, to actual proof as to the benefits of it and what needs refining and revising. And although I've said that you don't have to do a great broadcast on your social media platforms, you're only speaking to a small number of people, news is going to get out. And I know that for many people in corporate, visibility is a really scary thing because you know that there can be consequences attached to or certain things insinuated by how visible you are about other things other than your corporate job. And so you know that at some point you're going to have to be a little bit more visible, and yeah, that can be scary. And so for many people in corporate, they think that maybe the right thing for me is to have a faceless brand. I did a video on that previously if you want to go and have a look at whether or not that could be useful for you. But I understand how it is to feel that you have to be invisible or quiet and private, because being in those organizations and corporations, the only time that you're visible is when you're representing the organization. And if you stand for anything else, it can leave you worried that your reputation and good standing might be in danger. But I do want you to remember that if no one knows you're there, then no one knows you're there. And you cannot validate or test something if you keep it invisible and keep it hidden. And so what we need to look at is shift what visibility looks like. Again, this isn't about being an influencer and having hundreds of thousands of followers or having your face pop up on social media everywhere. It's simply about being strategic about how you use it. It's about being clear and how you set yourself up as an authority in your field. And most importantly, being findable. So if that's one of your worries and you're struggling about how you show up and position yourself properly and articulate what's happening professionally for you with your new idea, I've got you covered. I've created a framework that's called the Professional Voice. It's a guide that will help you to stand with authority and maintain your professionalism without damaging your credibility in your full-time job. So if that's something that you're struggling with, download your free guide below. So there's the fear of being seen, but there's also that fear of leaving yourself vulnerable and reaching out to people as well about an idea or a business that's outside of what you do in your corporate job. And that fear, again, is normal. And it can be the fear of what if they don't respond, or what if they say something that, kind of makes me feel bad. This is where you have to start looking at fear differently and literally just taking it as evidence. With those people that you're going to contact, some will respond, some might ignore it, some might be favorable, some might take you up on your offer, some will pay. All of that is literally just data. Don't take it personally, don't take it as a rejection. This is your evidence gathering and intelligence stage. So you might ask yourself, okay, I've done it and it seems really good. When can I leave? You can only start considering leaving when you've got paying clients, when you have repeated demands, when you have those testimonials that it actually works and the benefits, when you have revenue consistency, and most importantly, this is one that many people leave out, when you're emotionally stable. And that's why I'm writing my ebook, Before You Quit, on all the things that you need to consider before you quit. So if you'd like to join the wait list, you can find that below. But even when you have all those five, this is where you continue to review, you continue to test, you start looking at decisions. Maybe you can cut down a few hours if you've got revenue coming in consistently from this alternative source. But it all needs to be strategic. Give yourself a pat on the back, because now you are taking action through validating your idea. So once you finish testing and validating your offer, your next question might be, but how do I get, like, say, 3 consistently paying clients? In my next video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can approach them without it feeling uncomfortable and salesy. But until then, if you're worried about how you will potentially show up as a person starting a business whilst in your 9 to 5, I suggest you look at my previous video that's entitled How to Show Up Without Upsetting Your Job. Until the next video, bye.